All right, here's a bit of a different day, just because I actually woke up early today. All of my not sleeping has finally, quote unquote, paid off. I finally went to bed early and woke up early. I woke up at like 7:30 and just felt that feeling in my gut of just like, I mean, I won't lie to you, I tried to go back to sleep. It's like, I don't want to do this, do I? I don't want to live this life. But then I had that other feeling of just like, it's not going to happen, bro. Just get up. This is what's going on today. But it's kind of nice to actually be up early for a change, especially with how quickly it gets dark in the winter in Japan. This would probably have been the best plan all along. But I'm just generally not wired this way, and I presume everything will slip back into sloth very quickly after this. But for today, fuck it, this is what we got. And the main downside is because I'm in a communal Airbnb dealie right now, is when I roll out of bed much later in the morning and don't really get out of the house till around noon or so, or a little before then, everybody's already gone. So it's just like, the place is nice and empty. It's almost like I'm here all by myself. I can just chill out and buzz my hair and shave and take a shower. And it's like, no problem. Whoops, this little park I'm walking along. I'm just walking along a ravine. And it unexpectedly split. Yeah, I don't want to go that way. That's the wrong way. Yeah, I found this nice little bit of water. Which I was going to say is probably a river, but maybe this one actually isn't. Small enough that I can't see a name for it. But a nice little way to walk through the city without, well, there's still traffic on either side, but it's not too bad. Yeah, I woke up around 7:30, but pulled up the old laptop, downloaded some podcasts and crap to listen to today, just dicked around on the internet. Watched a guy play a game of Magic the Gathering on YouTube. A nice cultured morning. But just to kind of slightly get the lay of the land also. And yeah, all around me was people getting up, people buzzing around, because there's only 3 other people in my little bunk room. But then I don't know if there's 2 rooms on my floor, maybe just 1. But then upstairs is all private rooms as well. It's enough people that, I'm sure I could have squozen myself in for a nice quick shower, but it's just so uncomfortable. I just don't like that feeling at all of like other people are waiting and I'm getting in their way and they might have something to actually do today, some important thing happening where I sure don't. Plus, it's kind of the Japanese way anyway, right? You take a shower the day before, not in the morning. I actually take kind of more showers in Japan. Not that I'm like the filthiest man in the world, but I think I'm extra clean in Japan just because Japanese showers are so convenient and kind of fun. Well, walking through a tunnel, but you just set the temperature for the water and you just turn it on and just step in. And it's like, it's a little thing, but it's delightful. I definitely go out of my way a little to take showers in Japan. So I was like, fuck it, I'm not that filthy. And it's also not like I'm going to work today. It's not like I got to be around people all day. I'm just walking around by myself. So I figured to the hells with it. No shower for me today. But my big plan today is just to go walk across town and then walk through a park. Just like every day, just go walk around. But then I got all set to go, it really is, man, routine is so important, I'm just like, getting my clothes on in my little bunk, it's a little tricky. Hit my head once. Ooh, a tree. Are you a yuzu tree? I bet you are. I know what you are now. But I've got my my little sling that I wear under my shirt that has my passport in it and my spare bank card. And I always have it, I just put it in the pocket of my jeans each night. So the next day, I'll realize, there's that thing poking out of my pocket. But yeah, today I just change t-shirts, go to put my pants on, and I'm like, oh yeah, right, that thing. So I got to take the shirt back off, put the sling back on, then the shirt. And it's like, yeah, I would absolutely not have remembered, if I didn't put my little passport sling, because I don't think about it during the day, it's just hidden under my shirt. There's 0% chance I would have remembered. maybe hours later, but probably not even, unless I see that thing poking out of my jeans pocket. So man, yeah, that routine is incredibly important for not losing stuff, not misplacing things, because that's how I lost it in 2019. I just wasn't being constantly mindful of where my passport was, and then I just misplaced it, and then it was just gone forever. So yeah, man, a little routine sure does help. Keep the wallet in this pocket, keep the passport in this pocket, tuck everything away in its right place to avert calamity. Even when everything you own fits in a book bag, it's amazing how wrong it can go. I remember one time in Montreal, I can't remember what I was looking for, but something or other that I needed. And I was like, this is so insane. Like, everything I own fits in this one bag. What's going on? I had everything laid out on the floor of that particular Airbnb, and I'm just like, it doesn't make any sense. It has to be here. What's going on? And then I realized it was underneath my hat. I had to lift up everything that I owned, and it's like, oh, there it is. Like, even with the tiniest amount of stuff, it's shocking how easy it is to lose things. Well, I guess I should say too, just this little path I'm on just happens to have quite a few cyclists. This is something I've been meaning to bring up. When I first got to Japan and I was in Sengenjaya, it was a real problem how many cyclists there were everywhere. It was like, man, this is like difficult. They're constantly weaving around, and it's just like uncomfortably packed in with cyclists under another tunnel. And definitely in my time in Japan since, I've definitely realized like there are no cycling rules for sure. Like, it's super regimented in the Netherlands because it needs to be, in Amsterdam at least. But it's pretty securely defined in North America too. Japan, as with many things like smoking rooms and cigarette machines and just a lot of throwback stuff, Japan feels like how North America felt to me in the 1980s. You just do whatever. You just ride around on the sidewalk, you ride on the road, you ride on the left, you ride on the right, you just ride wherever you can ride. And it's not that bad, because for whatever reason, Sengenjaya is the only neighborhood where the amount of bicycles was a problem. Everywhere else, it's like not too shabby. It's pretty manageable, everything seems to work pretty well. But it's a little strange, I don't know, for such a organized society, I do kind of wish there was a little more, which side am I supposed to walk on? Who's supposed to go where? The all over the placeness definitely favors the cyclists, I'm sure it's nice for them to just weave all over the place, but as a pedestrian, you got to be like, who's coming from where? What's going on? You need to be a little vigilant, but it's not a big problem. It's just something I've definitely confirmed. It's the Wild West for bicycles. They can just do whatever they want. But anyway, I got all packed up and all set. But then as I was leaving the Airbnb, there's a guy blow drying his hair. I think he might be the guy who sleeps under me with his amazing cologne. But anyway, it was just like, have at it. Carry on. I'm all set to leave. I'm just leaving. But then I realized as I was walking down the stairs and put on my shoes and went out through the restaurant, it's like, man, I left so directly. I didn't pee. I always need to pee in the morning. There's a good chance the reason I woke up at 7:30 was because I needed to pee. And then I didn't for the next hour and a half. So I really needed to pee at that point. But it's like, oh, darn, well, I'm not going to go all the way back up there. Whatever, it's Japan. There's washrooms everywhere. But it's kind of weird to start the day with a mission. Immediate mission, find a washroom. And within 10 minutes, I found a washroom. It's all good. And today is probably the coldest day. But maybe, again, just because I'm up in the morning. I think the weather website said it was like 5 degrees, but it's supposed to become 9 degrees. So it's somewhere in the middle right now. But just to be on the safe side, I did break out my heaviest coat that I haven't used at all yet. The one that I probably shouldn't have bothered bringing. But I guess I'm glad I've got it, because apparently South Korea is a lot colder than Japan. Which I guess makes sense, because even though it's only a little further north, even just Japan itself has got a bunch of snow right now if you go north. There's a good chance this thing will come in handy. I'm glad I've got it. But today I probably didn't need it. It's probably going to be too much. But just when I saw that 5 degrees thing, I'm like, just let's not risk it. Because I think that's the main sort of trick to Canadianness. And from what I understand, it's very similar in like Sweden and Finland and the Nordic European countries, is that it's not like we have some magical superpower where we can withstand the cold. We definitely do have a different mindset. Like what I consider cold is definitely different, It can be, like right now, whatever it is, somewhere between 5 and 9. And I'm just like, whatever, this is fine. It's cold enough, I put on my little stretchy gloves. But until you start seeing puddles of water turning into ice, it's not really that cold. And even then, it's just like our idea of what's cold is different. So we're just not willing to complain about it until it gets really bad. But the actual coldness, there's, I don't think, any particular resistance there. I'm a skinny 150-pound person. I get crazy cold immediately and will be the first to die if like really bad weather hits. But I think the main difference with Canadians and other Nordic peoples, as opposed to people who live in the South, is just preparedness. Like when people from Florida or whatever complain about it being cold, it's because they're wearing shorts and flip-flops and tank tops and shit. Of course it's fucking cold, Where in Canada, you're wearing long sleeves and long pants and you got layers. You're always prepared with layers. You got different stuff at the ready. You don't go outside with inappropriate clothing on. And that's what makes all the difference. It's just never, as long as you're dressed for the weather, then the weather's not bad. Like there were days during my COVID lockdown in New Brunswick where it's like cold out of a nightmare, like out of a story, where it would be like minus 30 degrees Celsius. And you're just walking through this insane winter wonderland. Like it's beautiful. It's amazing. It's like you're in a dream. It's like you're in a story. It just is like, how is this real? But what makes it fun is that I had all my layers on. I had my thermal underwear. I had my giant super coat that I didn't bring with me because it's just like an insane parka. And I just said, it's like you're in a spacesuit, like an underwater diving suit going out into this weather. And you got your face covered and everything is covered. And that's when weather like that is fun. That's when you can spend all day outside and you can just trudge around through the woods and you can just walk across town and you can just have a cool time. And it's like fun and exciting and it's like, this is cool. But if you were underdressed on a day like that, all you can do is go from the mall to your car. And even that's probably a pretty unpleasant experience. Like you can't be out in it. You can't enjoy it. You can't like it at all. It's terrifying. So I really do think that's the main difference. Is people who aren't used to the cold, they're right when they're always complaining that it's cold. It is. Right now it would be cold if I didn't have the right coat and the right layers and all the stuff. But I do, And I'm like hyper trained. That's why I brought all this stuff. That's why I brought too many layers with me to Japan. That's why I'm wearing a layer more than I probably need right now. Because what if? It's probably going to warm up later, but what if it doesn't? What if it goes the other way? I would rather be ready. But I suspect I probably have, tying one of these jackets, because I'm wearing 2 of them, tying one of them around my waist later today and sweating to death and complaining about it, but better than the alternative. So yeah, then I went to a 7-Eleven that is a known procurer of the barbecue mackerel soy ginger delicious dish. And they didn't have any, but that's like a good thing. Like the other day when I found one by Ginza and I got to eat my mackerel in fancy surroundings. Even that store only had one. And the fact that this store didn't have any is a good thing because that's evidence that throughout the day, they just make them and deliver them. All throughout the day you see the little Combini delivery trucks showing up bringing stuff. Because if one of those mackerel things had been there, that would suggest that it had been there all night, that it was just sitting there waiting for someone to buy it. And that would be a bad thing, So I wasn't disappointed that there wasn't one there. I didn't really expect it. But I still got a smaller one that was also kind of good, because for like $2, that big one is $4, they sell these little $2 ones that are just little squares, a little square of rice, like the size of a brownie, except it's rice and vinegared fish of some kind, so you can get salmon and stuff. But I found a little mackerel and ginger one, except vinegared instead of barbecued. Not as good, but hey, it'll do. And I just felt like I wanted that for breakfast. I just wanted a nice fish and rice. Get the day started well. And then I bought, just because I wanted to just get a little coffee to start off with. So I got the little Starbucks Winter Collection Cinnamon Caramel Latte. And it's a little gross, so I think I'm going to do the little trick, like with the brown sugar latte, of buying a black coffee and mixing it with this. Then it'll be delicious. But this little walkway, this is actually pretty amazing. It really does just cut. I'm heading east from my Airbnb. And yeah, this walkway is pretty great. It just goes and goes and goes, and it keeps going under all the streets. So there's no drink machines here. Small price to pay though. This is pretty good. And where I'm heading today is very much like this. I didn't expect this journey there to be similar to the place I'm heading to. But basically, I was trying to figure out what to do with myself today. And I wasn't sure. I definitely got a little lazy booking Airbnbs toward the end of this trip. Like, I'm just at this one for too long, and then I'm going to one in West Tokyo, so that'll be awesome. I get to go back to Akigawa and check out Ome. That will be cool. I think with like these communal places like the one I'm at now, it is one of those things where I should really look at the listing more closely and try to figure out a little better what it is I'm actually getting and what's going on. Because I was saying how I thought this one was a capsule. But when I looked at the listing again, it's like, no, this definitely isn't a capsule. I could not make that mistake in good faith. I think what happened is I was looking at capsules, and since this was months ago, I forgot that I hadn't booked the capsule one. But the lack of space definitely doesn't bother me. Being so close to people, I don't like. That's where I want to try a capsule and see if it insulates me a little more. The communal bathroom I don't really mind, because usually my schedule is off kilter with everyone else's. And that it's so cheap. Like, I'm excited to go back to West Tokyo, but this next place is like double the price again. It's like the same as Fukuoka prices. But anyway, I'm definitely here for a little too long. And then after West Tokyo, I'm going to Yokohama, and also I'm there for too long. I just kind of got bored of trying to find places and of booking places. It was like, my 7th, 8th, 9th Airbnb. But I should have split them up more. I should have done just a week here and then a week somewhere else. Because this was really cool when I first got here. And I'm like, man, everything is so close. It's so cool to be in central Tokyo. There's the Sumida River. There's the Sky Tree. Oh, geez, look at that. There's Akihabara. There's Tokyo Tower. There's the giant Gundam. Like, everything is right here. But after I used up that initial burst of stuff, then it's like, now what? Because it's great if you want to get to the central Tokyo stuff, but you can't really escape. If I wanted to get away from here and go, say, to West Tokyo, go to somewhere more naturific, it's a really long ride. Going there and back is an expensive round trip. And with how early it gets dark, it's not a very realistic plan. So I was like, I don't quite know what to do. I was like, well, just follow your feelings. What do you feel that you want to do? And I was like, well, I could really go for Ohori Park, or I could go for heading up to the northern coastline, or I could go for just getting on the train and going south and see what happens, or going to Aburayama or going to Dazaifu and just hiking up some mountains. All of that sounds good. But all of that is fucking Fukuoka stuff. I'm like, shit. You want to get to nature in an easy, convenient way. Fukuoka is the place for you, not fucking Tokyo. I don't know how to escape from here. Definitely a week in any given place feels good in Japan. There's a lot to do for a week, and then for the second week, it's like, now I'm dreaming about leaving this neighborhood, but then that just is a lot of trains and travel and extra. I'm still here for a while, so I think that's what's going to have to happen. And I really hope in Yokohama I can find a way to get to the coastline easily. Because that's what I want. I want to see some nature. I want to see some trees. Tokyo Bay fucking sucks millions of balls for that. It's terrible. Forget about it. It doesn't count as water if you can't get to it and you can't see it. So anyway, I just Googled, hey, what's the stuff I can do? What do you got for me? Central Tokyo, give me your top 20. And basically I've done it. I've done it all. It's like, hey, there's that cool street by Sensoji Temple with all the shops and Sensoji itself. And I mean, literally just by wandering around, I pretty much did all this stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, I've seen all this stuff. I've been to all the places. There's nothing obvious that I'm missing, I don't believe. So a little further down the list, this thing showed up that's, it just seems like kind of an average park. The reviews are like, oh, nice family park, bring your kids and stuff. So it's like nothing's gonna really be there, but that's fine. As usual, I don't really go to see a thing or to soak in a thing. I want to just travel through a thing. Just an excuse to travel to a place and then travel through it. And it seems perfect for that. It's called Higashi Komatsugawa Park. Higashikomatsugawa Park. And it's basically this river to the east that I walked to on the first day and then did not cross, which is in fact the Arakawa River, that big river that I went to. It was running east-west up in Itabashi. At this point it is curved, so now it's going north-south. And I didn't cross it because it's just a great big giant river. Today I am going to cross it, though there's a little mall here I just saw. I'm getting near the bridge, so I'm just I got all day now. I left early for once. I'm going to go in the mall and walk around and check it out. But if I cross this bridge and then head north a little, basically the deal with this park is, as I understand it, it's like 4 kilometers long and it just snakes, sort of like this path has been, except presumably somewhat wider and bigger, more of a real park. I'm more on just a glorified path, a big super path. But yeah, this park is just this 4 kilometer snake that winds through the city. And I'm like, that sounds great. Perfect. Just an excuse to go walk over there. I haven't really gone to that side of the Arakawa River yet. Yeah, I guess that's true. I haven't at all because it would have taken me to Saitama, the other place where I was at it. And in a way, it's kind of like the perfect thing for me to go see. Because, yeah, like there isn't a thing. It's not like I'm going to a temple or a statue or a natural fucking wonder or whatever. Because those things, like, they are nice to see. But as I always say, it feels a little weird. I'm just standing there. That's just not how I appreciate stuff. It's not how I soak stuff in. I just get antsy and bored if I'm just standing there trying to feel the importance. I just don't ever. It doesn't, I feel it for a second and then it goes away. I want to just keep walking. So this will be perfect. There is no thing to stop at. There's no thing to see. It's just a park to move through, which I guess is why I like hiking in the mountains so much. It's the movement. It's just moving through the environment. That's what I like. So that's the plan for today. And now I'm going to go move through the environment of this Aeon Mall that's across the street. Get me a black coffee to mix with my cinnamon sugar psycho latte. Oh, and just for a second, I just saw my breath there, just for a moment. But I think it is warming up. It's not too bad. But yeah, this is fine with me. I don't mind it being a little on the colder side at all. It's a little overcast today. Maybe that's what's making it cold. Because yeah, some of these days where just all of a sudden it's 20 degrees in December. That's the more ridiculous thing. That's like, Jesus, will you calm down? What the hell? My clothes are melting right now. What the fuck? All right. Time for the mall. All right, I'm crossing the Arakawa for the first time, and man, this is a mighty river. I'm always saying like, I grew up on the St. John River in New Brunswick. These little tiny rivers, come on, it's supposed to be a big river. Arakawa's a big fucking river, dude. It's very equivalent to the St. John River. It's that feeling of, hey, if you fall in this river, congratulations on dying. It's like you could swim across it, but if you get caught by a secret undertow or something, you're fucking dead. Don't fall in. Of course, the main difference is when I look across the river here, there's a giant overpass with trucks sailing through the sky, where in Fredericton, it's just a hill and trees everywhere. There's also a Ferris wheel in the distance, and I was like, I wonder what that is. And then zooming around on the map, it's like, oh, Tokyo Disneyland, that checks out. So that's where that is, right over there. Man, one thing that's weird about the Arakawa is there's a second river, a smaller river, that is right next to it. The Naka River connects up at this point. So yeah, for this particular stretch, it makes the Arakawa extra big, supersized. But I just had a little drink machine experience that's not extremely common in Japan, where I just don't know what's going on at all. I saw this can I'd never seen before, and the label is just a very faint image of an old school Japanese village. And it was under the hot drinks in one of these little cans. And it was like 110 yen, and I was just staring at it, and I'm like, what the hell is that? I just have no idea, so I gotta try it. But then I opened it, popped the top of the can, and there's like milky white stuff inside with some little flakes of something floating in it. So I still didn't know what was going on, and then I drank some of it, and it was sweet, but kind of weird tasting. I don't really know how to describe it. It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. It's just a strange, sort of sweetish tasting white liquid. Because at first I thought maybe it was a soup or something, but it's not. It's not really salty at all. So I mean, it's just weird to buy something, to look at it, to taste it, and the fuck is that? Some fucking dickhead on their bike? Shut the fuck up, bitch. Need to fucking fix that bike. To taste it and to still not know what's going on. Not even to really have a guess what the fuck's going on. That's a bit extreme. That's a bit of a weird situation. So I pulled up the Google Translate and tried, but again with cans, it's like nothing on the front could really be translated because it's just a font that can't be recognized, and it's written, it's also tough when stuff's written vertically. It's a lot harder to translate, but also when it's against an image, I was getting nothing. And the back, I mean, I guess it's some kind of non-alcoholic sake. Saijo Higashi Hiroshima City is one of the 3 major brewing areas that are different from Nara and Fushimi. Please enjoy the Hambo Amazake made from the sake brewery in Saijo. Yeah, this is actually translating a lot better this time. I tried to translate it as I was walking across the bridge, and that one didn't work so good. So yeah, I guess this isn't as confusing as I thought. Name, soft drink Amazake, alcohol content less than 1%. So yeah, this is a sake. Amazake sake? I've never heard of Amazake before. I don't really know what that is. Hopefully I'll remember to look it up later. But presumably just a type of sake. So this is basically non-alcoholic sake, less than 1%. Because that was the thing, as I saw somewhere on here, the warning of, don't drive vehicles and stuff. And I'm like, well, it can't be an alcoholic drink because they can't just sell those without all the foo-for-ah where you got to put in your ID and stuff in the machine. So yeah, rice sake, but super sugary. I have not drunk a lot of sake in my time, and when I've had, it's all clear, and it's I've had it cold and warm. I don't remember it being sweet though. I also remember it being kind of more that classic wine paint thinner sort of taste. I'm not a big wine fan. I like red wine mixed with fruit juice, like ghetto sangria or sangria. But yeah, white wine and sake, not so much my thing. So that seemed weird that it was milky and sweet, but I guess maybe if you're drinking non-alcoholic sake, I don't know, maybe they're just like, I don't know, better put some sugar in there, because otherwise I don't know what the heck anyone's drinking this for. But yeah, that was kind of neat, because that doesn't happen too often. I mean, I'm always vaguely confused about what's going on around me. That's kind of the fun of floating around Japan. But that was a strange one, where it's like, okay, I'm looking at it, I'm tasting it, I'm swallowing it. I don't even have a guess. I don't even know what category of of product this is. But apparently non-alcoholic sake, and apparently not popular, because I've never seen it before, and maybe I'll never see it again. I certainly won't buy it again. It was not great. Well, this is pretty nice. Komatagawa Sakegawa Shinsui Park. It's a little tough though to find the entrance because there's really nothing listed on the map specifically. The only thing I could find was Healing Village Nishi Kamatsugawa. So I guess you search for the Healing Village of Nishi Kamatsugawa, and that's close to the beginning. But it's similar to the little trail I was on before on the other side of the Arakawa. But this one's way nicer. It's still just like a little strip of path through the middle of a neighborhood. But this one doesn't have as much traffic, very little traffic, and there's a nice stream the whole way with ducks in it, lots of ducks. Hey there, ducks. So it's just, a nice, calm, little waterway that you can walk along. Maybe not necessarily worth coming to in and of itself, but if you happen to be nearby, definitely a nice stroll. Much nicer than the journey here, because I was thinking as I walked up the Arakawa River, it's kind of cool to walk along it, and it's this great big river, and it's got the big overpass, and there's people in jet skis in the river and stuff. But it's also very ogale. It's just concrete Japan stuff. It was still kind of overcast too. The sky is cleared up, so I guess that didn't help. But I was just kind of thinking like, a concrete forest, of course it is. The lampposts of the oak trees and the street tops of the streams. Like it's just city, No feeling of nature was permeating, pushing past the cityness. Even though I was next to this gigantic river, it was just kind of like, But now that I'm here at this little thing, this thing's nice. This is pretty. This ain't ugly. This is pretty. I think, though, I'm almost at the end already, Higashi Kamatsugawa Park. But if I keep going, it does push a little further to Chuo Forest Park that was also on the list. But again, it's just a teeny little park. I think for these to have made the list of stuff to do in central Tokyo, I think it's just that Edogawa City is where I am now. Well, it looks like there's a lot more green space next to the Edo River. I'm going to keep pushing past then. I'll get up to the Chuo Park. I'm going to go over to the Edo River, Shinozaki Park. I mean, it's always a little hard to tell with the banks of rivers. Because the bank of the Arakawa, you can't really walk along. It's not so good. But maybe this one's not as big of a river. Maybe it will be nice. And it looks like if I go up from there, Mizumoto Park. That seems like a pretty good ultimate goal today. But I think it's safe to say there's kind of not much going on over here. That'll take me up to Katsushika City. And then from there, I'll probably try to find a train to bail out, because that'll leave me relatively far away. Although who knows, again, I did still start the day pretty early. It's only 1:30. But yeah, I think I've definitely hit the point where I am just kind of, I randomly explored in all the major directions, and I found some okay stuff. But I do think I might have to start training it up, of just, to get out of this particular hood. Because at first I was like, this is amazing, I'm close to everything. But I've seen everything now. Because I was thinking, like, Christmas Day is coming up. And I was like, what am I going to do on Christmas? What's going to be my Christmas gift to myself? And I mean, it's probably just, I think I'll just go to Ikebukuro and walk to Oji Station and then walk to Naka-Itabashi. Like, that loop is just my favorite. It's the first place I stayed in Tokyo. It's just my fave. My real fave, my true fave, is, to go out into the woods. If I could make it to West Tokyo to go to a hiking trail, that would be the best, but that's just too far away. I can't realistically do that. It's like $13 each way, and it takes hours. It would take half the day, and it would take like $30 to make that round trip. I'm just gonna have to wait till my next Airbnb when I'm closer to that type of stuff. I'm heading underneath. This is kind of nice. Like, this is the one big crappy street in the middle of this nice walk. But they got a nice underpass, so I can avoid all that. I barely even hear it. But yeah, I was thinking if I do, hey, if all I want out of life is to go walk the rivers near Ikebukuro, I don't have to wait till Christmas. I can do that anytime. That should be pretty easy, because I've been having trouble with the trains, but I am getting a little finicky with them. Like, you know, I'm starting at slightly odd stations, trying to get back to slightly odd stations. But if I just need to get to a major station and then take it to Ikebukuro, which is another major station, that should be pretty simple. That's pretty doable. Not that expensive, not that long on the train. You know, there's no need to keep flogging this neighborhood if there's really not much else to see around here. I mean, I guess I kind of said that the first day I was here, just walking around and like wondering, like, hey, I wonder before the Sky Tree, did anybody come out here? Like, maybe not. There's probably not much going on around here. And I think that is just kind of true. It's just nice in general. It's nice in a general, nice Tokyo neighborhood type of way. But beyond that, unless you're going to Disney, I don't know that there's a ton going on out here. And since I failed to shake up my Airbnbs appropriately to reset the Etch-a-Sketch and set me up somewhere else, I'll just have to do it manually. I just have to start taking the train places. But I mean, that's not bad, you know. I'm on my last month now. I'm 2/3 of the way through my visit, and I've pretty much been on foot this whole time. I've barely ever taken trains anywhere. So I think I think I done good. I think I did all right as far as working the shoe leather and just seeing what there is to see in an on-foot capacity. I think now it's train time. Time to learn the trains. Time to not be so afraid of the trains. I mean, I'm not afraid of the trains, but I guess I am though avoidant of the trains. Because I mean, the best time you're ever going to have on a subway is not going to be that good. And then if you do get lost and you have to transfer a bunch, or you get turned around, or you go the wrong way, there's a lot of potential for it to actually be kind of a pain in the butt. On the other hand, it is a lot better for like getting, just, you know, if you want to do some writing on your phone or whatever, stuff like that, even just read comics on your phone or just any stupid crap like that, it is kind of better for that. Enforced downtime where you're just stuck in a train. That's one sort of trouble with walking, is there's no enforced downtime. I have to enforce the downtime. I have to make myself stop somewhere. And I'm not good at that. I just keep walking. So there's upsides. There's upsides to the train life. Man, this is actually pretty great. The further I go on this thing, the more I like it. Like right now I'm on these big flat stones that you can use to step across the stream. And there's a bunch of those all over the place. At first they were kind of optional, but then there's parts where it's required to get across. It's like, hey, you're supposed to do this. And you know, this thing, it's very shallow. If you did fall in, you know, it's only going to go up to your shins. But it still feels a little weird to be on these because they're really high up too. These really tall, flat stones, and you're stepping across them. And it's just like, geez, this would be a bad time to just suddenly, I don't know, have all your muscles spasm at once and fall into the water. I don't know what would ever happen realistically. But it's just kind of cool. It's fun. And there's like bridges too. You kind of are constantly having to go back and forth across the stream. And then there's some times where I lost track of it and I just had to walk on the normal street for a bit. But then I'll look behind me when I get back on the stream and see, oh, there was a way. How strange. But I guess it just kind of dips underground sometimes. And if you don't quite know where you're going, you get a little turned around. But it's generally pretty easy to follow. And yeah, this is pretty as heck. This is really good. Also, the weather's getting progressively better and warmer. So I found a ice cream cone machine. Got a blueberry cheesecake ice cream. You can't beat that on a sunny, warm, beautiful December day because Tokyo is a magical wonderland. Oh, there's a yuzu tree. Also, how from the star vending machine I found a lemon/yuzu drink. The Daido company, the guys who made that canned crab soup, they had a yuzu drink too, like a hot yuzu drink. And it was kind of good because it does seem to be just yuzu, not lemon. So it's got a little bit of that tarty, tangy, bittery yuzu taste, but not very much because the top ingredient is still sugar, you know. It hasn't rocketed to the top of my new favorite drink list or anything, but it's kind of good because the other one really just tasted like lemon. So at least this one, you get a little yuzu in there. I love how I had no idea what yuzu even was. I had no inkling that there was a lemon-adjacent fruit that even existed. And now my life revolves around yuzu. Oh, that reminds me. Yuzu made me think of, I did buy one time a little bag of sugared lemon rinds from a 7-Eleven that was surprisingly good. And I used it to counterbalance the plums because I found that I like sour plums and I like the semi-sour plums. And then any of the sweet range of plums, it's kind of like a pickle, I guess. I don't really like bread and butter pickles, but I like dill pickles. It's kind of like that with plums. I like the strong flavored ones. And the weak flavored ones just taste weird and I don't like them. But that reminds me, I was at a Lawson's and I found sweet and sour seedless dried plum and it's been in my pocket. Let me try these. Because if it's got the word sour in it, it's probably good enough. Because yeah, the sour ones from 7-Eleven, they're fucking crazy. It's like a stunt just to eat them. They're so fucking sour. So even the normal ones are pretty sour. They're sour enough. So I figure if these are sweet and sour, suggesting a mid-level sourness, that might be good. Let's see. What the hell is this symbol on here? Suppaman. Supppaman. Suppai-man. He's like some kind of weird superhero. Does Lawson's have a superhero fucking guy? And that's weird. I've never seen that before. Man, this stream just keeps going on and on and on too. I mean, I guess I knew at the outset it said it was 4 kilometers. 4 kilometers ain't short. And yeah, I mean, it just keeps going and keeps going. This thing is pretty rad, you know? Maybe it is worth walking to this, actually. I'm turning around on this bad boy. This is really cool. This was worthy of the list that it was on, of stuff to do in this general area. And sometimes too, there's, it's not often, but once in a while, there's like rocks piled up so you get a little mini waterfall and stuff. But okay, let's see what we got here. Sweet and sour seedless dried plum. Suppai-man. Lawson's. Yeah, pretty sour. Pretty good. Oh, the sour. These seem less processed than the 7-Eleven ones. They kind of look like just dried mushrooms in this bag. And when you put them in your mouth, they're very dried. Takes a bit for your saliva to reconstitute them. Where the 7-Eleven ones don't actually look much like they were ever a plum. They've kind of been formed into little discs, so it's almost more like candy than a plum. Where this really does look like, you know, if you dried a grape or something. I guess we would call that a raisin. Bigger than that, though. Kind of like a plum. Say you dried a plum. This seems a little more legit. And yeah, pretty good. I like these two with the sourness because, like, that's good. That's enough. Now I can seal this bag up, put it back in my pocket, forget about it for an hour or two, and then have some more. This will last me like 2 or 3 days. It's just a nice little blast of power. And yeah, it's a nice way not to overdo it with sweets. Because I really am lucky I've got a fast metabolism. Oh my God. Every fucking place I go, I just end up getting some kind of a little mini, especially cheesecake stuff. I just feel like everything cheesecake related is really good in Japan. And like 7-Eleven, now that I've been going there especially often now, because they have that the cool barbecue mackerel thing this time of year, or just as a new product, or I don't know where they came from. There were none and now they're everywhere. But there's also a little crepe thing that's like a crepe with cheesecake stuff inside and strawberry sauce that I had also never seen before. And I realized the other day, like, oh, it's got like a red label. It's not officially Christmassy, but it's clearly like red with little twinkle stars that could be snowflakes. Like it's a winter thing. It's clearly like, hey, it's like Christmas now. Eat your cheesecake, eat your strawberry cheesecake. So that's where I think maybe the mackerel thing is also seasonal, because they both came in at the same time, and I almost always get them together. But I've kind of been finding that it's not that I'm necessarily getting the cheesecake crepe thing instead of something else. It's like, hey, just throw it in the pile. Like I've kind of stopped buying a lot of the, the super factory produced type crunky and that type of stuff, because it did just pile up in my pockets and I just wasn't eating it. But I mean, the little like semi-frozen section of the convenience store, where there's usually, if there's not the cheesecake crepe, there's probably a little cheesecake tart. And if there's not that, like at this Lawson's, I got these two little like cheesecake fingers, little fingers of, 2 fingers of cheesecake bread stuff. And if there's nothing cheesecake, there's always something else. I pretty much always get something from there. And yeah, if it wasn't for my miraculous metabolism, oh my God, Japan would turn me into a sumo. But sour dried plums, they are an excellent antidote to that type of thing. Because yeah, you just don't want to gorge them all. You don't want to eat them all. Even if you did, it's only 12 grams. But man, yeah, 2 or 3 of these, and your mouth needs a break. It's like, put those away, please. That was quite a fun thing to eat. But no more. And speaking of, not that I need any more crap in my belly. I really don't. But there's a mini stop coming up, and I've realized with mini stop is like the one place where I don't know what is the mini stop thing, 7-Elevens and Lawson's and Family Marts and Daily Yamazaki and even New Days have stuff that I could identify, like, oh, you can only get that thing here. What about mini stop? I see them once in a while and I just don't know. So you know what? For the sake of experimentation and gluttony, I'm gonna go in. Just buy a little 1 or 2 things because I'm really not hungry. But like, what is the deal with mini stop? What do you got, mini stop? How are you standing out in this most cruel of economies? You must have something. All right, I think that mini stop actually signified the end of the stream, or maybe it's over there somewhere and I can't find it, I don't know. But that Chuo Forest Park I was kind of aiming for. I actually walked right around it. But that's fine, just take a hard right. I'm gonna force my way over now. There's a smaller river, the Shinaka River. I'm gonna cross over that and see what the bank of the Edo River is like. Man, I wish there was a way you could set Google Maps. I know I complain about it a lot, but when you're in offline mode, I wish you could just turn off the single press. Because, you got to double tap it to zoom in and out. But a single tap will just say, hey, you're offline. I can't tell you anything. It's like, I fucking know. I know I'm fucking offline. Stop fucking offering me nothing. I guess a lot of people don't have phones that are disconnected. Evidently, but it's just a tiny annoying thing that has happened to me approximately 8,000 times. But anyway, here's a blast from the past. When I first got to Japan, I was in search of, it again is so weird that 7-Eleven is the only brand that stopped making this, but the bitter cafe latte in the little cup. Every other fucking store has one, but the 7-Eleven one was my favorite one. They're the only ones who stopped doing it. But looking around that mini stop, there's quite a bit of bakery stuff. But I think if I had to pick something, it seems like maybe is their thing, is there was a lot of bento boxes. But they were all far too large, because I'm just not that hungry right now. But I'd say, I guess in general, it does seem like mini stop is sort of the jack of all trades. Not a lot to make it stand out, but it's just got a bit of everything. But yeah, I never realized they have their own mini stop cup of coffee in the little cup with the stabby straw. And yeah, I guess I just drifted away from these in general. Once I tried all the brands, I'm like, all right, good enough. But I haven't tried mini stop, so let's see what we got. Stabby, stabby. It's amazing how different they all taste. I mean, and this is definitely the maturing of my taste buds, where all sugar tastes kind of the same to me. Whereas a kid, I'm sure I could tell the many different stripes of sugar types. Whereas a kid, every bitter tasted bad. Now as an adult, every bitter has its own unique bitterness. They all taste different. I don't love this one. This one tastes a little bit like burnt coffee. It's the first time I've really tasted that in a Japanese coffee drink. Still not bad, but yeah, a bit of a weird aftertaste and stuff. But yeah, I think I drifted away from these drinks just because none of them were quite as good as the 7-Eleven one anyway, so I was always just, why go for second best? Why not just let it be in the past and let it go? But also because these little drinks are not convenient to walk around with. Because if you've got a bottle or a can, there's all kinds of opportunities to throw those away at the different little machines. Whereas now this has to go in my garbage pile, and it's a lot harder to tuck away in a pocket or something because it's a big cup. So I'd say this is probably my last foray into the stabby cups, but I'm glad I tried the final brand. Unfortunately, it's also the worst one. But I got something else. Hitoiki Cafe Custard Cream. Again, it's just like 2 sticks. And I mean, do they have the custard cream in them? Is it just custard cream flavored? Let's find out. Yeah. It's a little finger of bready pastry with some custard in it. Some firm custard, so it's not like goopy, it's not like coming out. That's pretty good. Not bad, Mini Stop. You may not be the prettiest person at the ball, but I'll dance with you. Actually, that's not true. I'll probably never go in another Mini Stop ever again. I just don't know why I'm going in there when I could go somewhere else. But your heart's in the right place, Mini Stop. I noticed I could buy the world's largest fucking bottle of whiskey for like $13. So that's a thing. All right, I made it to the Edo River, and what am I at? Koiwa Shobu Garden. I was like, all right, let's check that out, I guess. There's a lot of like baseball fields and stuff on the banks of this river. And I was like, yeah, it's getting dark, the sun's going down. Yeah, it's only 4 o'clock, but I mean, that means it's getting dark. But I thought I might walk up this river, but yeah, now that it's getting on in the day, it's like, oh yeah, I woke up really early today. I was feeling pretty tired. I'm like, I think I'm at the end of this journey. And if I walk up this river, there don't appear to be any trains up there, up that way. And because it's December, this particular garden does not have much going on in it. But hey, whatever. Again, just an excuse to walk around, see Japan. I made it to the river. Good enough. And yeah, on the way here, I found this pretty cool shopping street. And I wonder if it's the final member of the off family. There's book off, there's hobby off, there's hard off. This one was mode off. I assume as in à la mode, a dépêche mode, fashion, because it was just like clothing. So I assume, we had that in Toronto also. There's Value Village, which is just a thrift store chain, but there was Value Vintage, where if somebody did donate something fancy pants and expensive, that's where that would go. So I assume that's what mode off is. But I ain't never seen that before, and shit like that just delights me. I'm like, oh, look at that, there's another one. But another cool thing I saw on that shopping street is there was a store full of vintage magazines. And it was just neat to go in and see all the old stuff. I didn't realize it was vintage at first till I saw Fiona Apple on the cover of one. And you never know. I mean, at one of the convenience stores near Dazaifu, I saw a brand new magazine about Audrey Hepburn. And I'm like, oh, look at that. Roman holiday. That's appropriate. So who knows? Fiona Apple's still active. If anything, she's more beloved than ever these days. But no, it turns out it was from 1999. And I'm like, oh, I see. This is all retro stuff. That's cool. Because they're all in perfect shape. All these magazines look like they were just printed yesterday. And the front of the magazine was Fiona Apple, looking for a little hope. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is 1999. If you're a Fiona Apple fan, you probably know that fucking reference. I said, oh, honey, I don't feel so good, don't feel justified. Come on, put a little love here in my voice. He said, it's all in your hand. I said, so is everything, but he didn't get it. I thought he was a man, but he was just a little boy. Hunger, etc. But anyway, I think there's a train near here somewhere, so I think that counts as the end of the day. I think that's enough of an adventure, and I think that officially kind of wraps up East Tokyo. I don't know what else there is to wander to around here, but for a final wander, that was pretty good. I liked it. Just walk to nowhere for no reason. That's what I like to do. That's adventure in my books. So thank you for joining me on yet another roaming pointless ramble across Japan. I hope my vague thoughts on the quality of mini stop coffee is handy to you. And if not, maybe next episode will have something more useful in it, but don't count on it, because that's really not the point of what I'm here to do. I'm here to do nothing for no one, and there be no point to it. So join me next time for more of that. Thank you very much.